Parallelogram. If you remember the definition of a parallelogram was simply a shape that has two sets of parallel sides. It is the exact definition. A quadrilateral, if you will. Quad with two sets of parallel lines. And today we're actually going to talk about how to find the area of a parallelogram. And it's a pretty simple little formula, but you need to write out, we need to talk about it just a second here. To find the area of a parallelogram, you multiply the base of the parallelogram times its height. And with that, you need to understand that the base and the height are different than the length and the width. Okay? Anytime in math, and I don't know if we've talked about this before, anytime you see the words base and height with respect to shapes in math and formulas, the base and the height have to be perpendicular to each other, which means they have to form a right angle. So if you're given a parallelogram that looks like this, and you're given this dimension and you're given this dimension, okay, you do not have enough information to find the area of that because there are no two perpendicular lines there. There are no two lines that form a right angle. Anytime you're given a shape like this, the book will have to either give you the height like this. There'll be a little dash line that goes straight here and a little square corner there, and it might say 6 inches or 6 whatever, or they'll extend one of these maybe out to here and draw this line right here and here and tell you that that's 6. Either way, it's the same thing. Okay, you need to multiply the two that form the right angle. So if you're looking for the area of this parallelogram, it would be 10 times 6 times 6, which happens to be 60, whatever it is, centimeters squared, or whatever we're talking, inches squared, or however that is. Now the reason why length times width works for a rectangle, can anybody tell me why a rectangle is a parallelogram? Why does length times width work for a rectangle? Because by very definition, what does rectangles have? All sides are right angles. So if this is 8 and this is 5, you already have the right angles there. So really this is the base and this is the height. Right, the rectangle is already a right angle, so it doesn't really matter because you're just going to multiply the two dimensions times the width there. What else can we talk about in this one? Can we talk about something here? Yes, they do, I think. The other thing about parallelograms is this. Have we talked about supplementary angles? Complementary angles? No? Yeah? No? Jot down another parallelogram in your notes. If you have a parallelogram, you need to write this down and then we'll talk about this too. Two things you know about parallelograms. Two things you need to know. Number one, that opposite angles are equal. And number two, adjacent angles are what we call supplementary. You will be so much smarter today than you were yesterday. that means this. Let's take the first one. What do you suppose opposite angles mean when you talk about a shape? Let's say this is angle A, and let's say it is 50 degrees. What angle do you suppose, I should label it, here's A, B, C, and D. What angle do you suppose is opposite of angle A, Elijah?
Angle C.
Exactly, because if you go straight across in the opposite direction, this number 1 says opposite angles are equal, so angle C has to also be 50 degrees. And you know that B and D are also opposite, but we don't know what they are. They're not 50 degrees, you can tell just by looking at that. Okay. And then this one. What do you suppose adjacent angles would be? If you're sitting adjacent to someone, what does that mean? Isabel? You're next to. So that means angle A is next to angle B, and it is also next to angle D. Angle D is next to adjacent to A and adjacent to C. C is adjacent to D. And then supplementary, children, definition again, supplementary means they add up to 180 degrees, which actually is the same thing as a straight line. So if you're given just this one 50-degree angle, you can find all the rest based on this. I know that angle A is adjacent to angle D, so it's also supplementary to angle A. So that means angle A and angle D have to add up to 180 degrees. So I know that angle D has to be, Jaden, shoot, 130 degrees. And that means angle B also has to be 130 degrees. So if you're given any one angle of a parallelogram, you can easily figure out the rest, as it would be for the assignment there. You know, that should be good enough to get you home.